All right, so let's do a little deep dive of just our draft prospects. Dylan, I know you wanted to go into some of that. You want to go and take it away?
Yeah. So we'll start out with a prospect whose name is Jetlachenko. This is from the Hockey Writers. This is just kind of what they see his potential as. The ceiling could project him as highly skilled two-way centerman with top six potential. He's projected to go anywhere from late first round, more likely second round. Obviously, the Hurricanes are sitting kind of at the end of the first round with pick 27.
Yep.
He's a right-handed center, 5'10", 165 pounds, currently playing in the OHL for the Gulf Storm. He's actually only 17 currently. He won't turn 18 until August, so he's almost pushed to next year's draft, but he's eligible this year. Kind of his strengths listed are high motor and energy, work ethic, and competitive. Great skating speed and strong edge work, strong two-way vision, playmaking awareness. All things that kind of fit with the way the Hurricanes play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, talking about prospects, I think he's someone who kind of fits the mold of what the Hurricanes look for.
Yeah, I think so as well. And especially considering the hit that our forward prospects took this year, dealing away three forward prospects in the Jake Gensel trade. Our top two prospects in our pool are both defensemen. And while I wouldn't say that forwards is a weakness necessarily, it's probably relatively weak compared to other positions. Obviously, we have forward prospects that are close, and Bradley Nadeau and Jackson Blake and Felix Ungersorum. And then there's some others that we have throughout the system. But adding a guy like this, especially if he's could be drafted to center, he's right-handed, which we know we're looking for on the forward front. He kind of reminds me of Seth Jarvis a bit. Just not as good of a goal scorer, it looks like. Solid production. So kind of probably moves like Jarvis, but with the playmaking awareness and strong two-way vision. Yeah. Well, it reminds me a bit of Aho with those 2 points, strong two-way vision and playmaking awareness. Obviously, he's probably not going to have the same production as Aho, but then again, Aho wasn't expected to either. In his draft year, he was the 35th overall pick, and a lot of people thought that we kind of reached for him there anyway, and thought that was maybe a pick we'd like to have back, but clearly that's not been the case. So kind of sounds like a mix of those two, though, based on the strengths that were listed.
Yeah, kind of looking at his stats from the OHL in 2022-23, he's only played 46 games. He had 14 points. And then moving into this season, he had a huge jump to 20 goals, 54 assists for 74 points. So it's nice to see that progression, obviously. He was a minus 13, which I guess you can put whatever amount of stock you want to in plus minus, but
depends on the team you're on.
Right, yeah. And then the World Juniors, 7 games, 7 points, 2 goals, 5 assists. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like, there's definitely been some progression there as far as scoring and all that goes. I think it helps that he's right-handed and he's a center. Hopefully, by the time he develops to the point he's on an NHL roster, who knows where he'd be at or where the Hurricanes are at that point. But I think there's a lot of potential there.
So I have just a general hockey question for you both. So, we talk all the time and we have all season about how we need a right-handed center. So, can you both just talk about why does right hand, left hand, center even? I mean, obviously we don't want a whole team of left-handers or a whole team of right-handers, because then that's goalie's probably going to know, he's going to know better where they're shooting from. But outside of that obvious answer, can you guys dive into why it's important, just why that matters?
Yeah, especially at the center position, it matters a lot because of where the face-offs take place on the ice. And so you might hear Trip Tracy talk about the power side or his better side when talking about a a center, and typically, obviously, the linesman has to drop the puck from somewhere, and you want that to be on the side where you're not trying to get leverage, if that makes sense. And so, if you're right-handed holding your hockey stick, your left hand is going to be up at the top of the hockey stick, and so as you get down for a face-off, your arm's going to swing way out to the left to account for holding the stick that way. So you don't want the linesman to be to your left because he'll kind of get in the way of you trying to get leverage. You want him to be to your right. And so if you're on a side of the ice where the linesman's going to be on the left, you'd prefer to have a left-handed center who's not going to have the linesman in the way of his leverage, and vice versa. And so it's all about where the draws are taking place on the ice, if it's the power side for the righty or if it's the power side for the lefty.
One thing I thought was interesting, just as we got into the playoffs and stuff, they talked, the analysts and everybody were talking about how several of the Rangers centers would flip their stick around and hold the stick the opposite way on their weak side faceoffs.
I do that when I do faceoffs.
Yeah, I think it's obviously something you have to practice quite a bit to get good at, but
I'm not good at faceoffs, but that's what I do.
Yeah, maybe it's because you're holding your stick backwards.
That could be it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I mean, you look at especially times like on the power play and things like that, how important faceoffs are. When faceoffs is huge throughout a game. Just to have
it's an important part of the way the Hurricanes play too.
Yeah.
Rod Brindamore was an excellent face-off guy when he played, and it's a very important part of his coaching style. I think every single forward on the team, center or not, gets face-off lessons from Rod at some point.
Yeah, I think part of the reason we haven't seen Necas at center is because he wasn't great at face-offs. But I have no
took far fewer this year than he did last year.
So
last year, Necas took a ton of face-offs. Pulling those numbers up right now.
He was in the low 40%.
Yeah, he was 45%. He won 188 and he lost 229. This year he was only 34%, but he took far fewer. He only won 47, lost 91. So I think part of the issue with him wanting to play center, but us not giving him the opportunities, can't win faceoffs. And a big part of playing center in Rod's system is two-way ability, trying hard on defense and being skilled at defense as well as offense. And Nate just doesn't really do defense all that much. He's not on the penalty kill either, and so that's likely holding him back in our system. That's why a lot of people feel he's not a good match for our system, and we could use that asset better on something else.
Right.